So I'm Matt from Select Start Media. We're here at the Wollongong Game Jam 2013 with
Samantha
and Amy.
Okay, and these two are unique that they're making a board game rather than a video game this year. So first of all, when you heard that very first thing, that heartbeat, how did you feel about that? Was that exciting, or were you disappointed, or what were your initial reactions to that heartbeat?
I actually wasn't here for the announcement. I was driving and I pulled over and I got a text from Amy, who discovered the theme.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it was a bit more difficult for us than it is for some of the others, because obviously it was a sound and there was also, the heart and what goes with that. But making a board game based around that concept or that theme felt a little bit harder at first, just trying to work out what ideas were going to work. But I think we settled on something that allowed us a lot of creativity with the theme, but also stuck to it. And kind of the good thing about themes is they actually allow you to have a bit of direction.
Yep.
And
so what direction did you end up going down?
We went a little bit abstract. It's still connected to the basic idea of a heart, but so our board game actually takes place on a ship, and all of the players are connected to a life support system.
not just any ship, it's a spaceship.
Spaceship. And you are trapped in a cryogenic tube.
Okay.
And your life support system is failing, and you need to release yourself from the system before life support fails.
Okay.
Escape.
So is it what sort of board? Like, is it just a regular rectangle, or?
No, it's circular. It's made of multiple tiles, and
Okay.
every time you play the game, the tiles are arranged differently, so the game's kind of dynamic and it changes when you play.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of concentric rings of the different areas of the ship, and they change.
So can you give me a very brief rundown on how you actually play? Like, if I was to sit down and play the game, what would happen?
Did you want to take this? Or?
Yeah, okay, so you would wake up in your cryo chamber, you'd have two little robots that you can control, and you need 4 resources in order to break free and go to the last escape pod and make it off the ship.
Okay.
You send out your 2 little robots and you try and compete to get to the resources that you need before anyone else's robots get there. Bring them back, get out of your cryo and make it to this escape pod.
Okay. So the resources have been, so the competitive side of it, is that the resources are being fought over? Is that your idea?
Yeah, the idea is that there's not necessarily enough resources to go around to all of the players. We've had some cases in playtesting where people have realised, say, 8 rounds in, that they actually can't win the game.
Okay.
So the interesting thing is, though, the players actually control parts of the ship. Each round everyone can lock or unlock a door,
Okay.
which means that you can block people's path when they're trying to achieve something, and it makes the game a bit more difficult to achieve that way.
So you said that people 8 rounds in realised that it wasn't going to happen for them. Is that something you want to keep, or are you going to try to avoid that sort of idea?
We've actually set up, so we've got 2 difficulties. We've got kind of a standard difficulty and a hard difficulty. So that will be maintained in the hard difficulty, because the idea is if you find yourself in that situation, as our friend did, they still had fun because they got to try and get everyone else to lose. Because of the time limit, there's not always a winner to the game. Sometimes everyone loses.
Sometimes everyone loses.
So there's a physical time limit or a turn time
A
limit?
turn-based time limit, you
Okay.
can extend that, so you can find energy capsules to bring back and extend the period of time that you have on life support. But when that does run out, everyone's dead.
Okay. So the energy capsules are, if you bring them back just to yourself, they apply to everyone?
They apply to everyone.
Okay.
So it's actually just about impossible for anyone to win the game unless at least one person sacrifices and takes it for the team.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So are you confident you'll get the final product ready by 3 o'clock tomorrow?
I'm fairly confident. At the moment, we're just up to the last phases of playtesting, and I think if we do about 2 or 3 more run-throughs, it should be fine. We're actually just focusing on a bit of art at the moment to make it look a bit more aesthetically pleasing, I suppose.
Doing a bit of art, and Sam's working on fine-tuning the rules that people would be given, and then we're going to do up some instructions for how to put it together, because obviously you can't just open it in a browser and play it. It's a board game. It exists physically. So the idea is that people can download it, print it, cut it out, and play it at home.
Yeah, that's cool. So finally, are you happy with what you've produced? Is there anything you can think, 24 hours ago I should have done this, but I didn't think of it, and now we haven't got time to go back, or are you going to be pretty happy with the final product?
I'm pretty happy with where we are. I don't mean to be cocky. I think it comes from the fact that I didn't think we'd get everything happening so quickly. The concept kind of came together in, I think, the first 5 hours. Everything was fleshed out reasonably well. We had everything, by our third playtest, everything was functioning.
Mind you, our first playtest was ridiculously awful. Like, we played it and we both just sat there depressed for like 5 minutes.
That was the only moment
what have we
where
done?
I had doubted everything. And I think it was about midnight where this happened.
Yeah, it's midnight on the first day. We like 5 hours into only a 48-hour thing, and we possibly have wasted 5 hours. And we're sitting there and we're just like, what do we do? Do we try and save it? Which we did, and I think it worked. We did our own playtest again, and it was working better. Then we brought in more players because it is a 3 to 4 player game, so it's very difficult to test with two.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find people, I guess, in this situation. Everyone's working on their own thing.
Yeah, everyone's very concentrated.
Yeah.
We've had a bit of help. We just had one of our friends come over and read through the rules without the physical board, without any of that.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, so she just sat there and read through the rules as a set, and we got feedback in that sense.
And one more thing, do you guys have experience with board game making, or is this your first time that you've even attempted this?
This is the first time I've made a board game. This was Amy's idea.
I've never made a board game before, but I collect and play a lot of board games, and I did spend a fair bit of time researching kind of what was involved, the kind of things that you need to be aware of, and like, I play a lot of games. I'm very competitive with strategy board games.
Amy does play a lot more games than me, but on a regular basis we're interacting with board games, so it wasn't a foreign concept in terms of knowing what to expect or how to bend rules or how to add in new and interesting mechanics.
Yeah. Excellent, thanks for your time.